Hello everyone, my name is Dimitrov and I am from the DimitrovBoelee piano duo. Today I thought we were thinking with Elvira what shall we record for you, and I thought anyway I have to practice and prepare this piece which is in front of me. I'll just tell you in a minute what it is. This is Brahms Sonata for cello. I don't know if you're familiar. The melody sounds like something like that. Okay, if I do this now, I would want to play the whole thing for you, but I think for me it's much more useful to work right now on a movement. That's the first movement, but I'm going to work on the second movement. I'm going to actually work on the trio of the second movement. It's divided in two different sections, two different parts. And so I thought, we were thinking, like I said, what to record for you, and I thought anyway I have to practice, so why don't I record part of my practice on video for you, and perhaps if something useful comes up while I'm practicing, you could learn from that. So let's get started. The second movement is actually starts like this. It's more of an accompaniment I have while I'm playing with the cello, even though later on it's not really an accompaniment anymore. The piano has a very important part. As you know, Brahms was a very substantial composer for piano music, and so of course this is not this kind of piece at such a level is not anymore about accompaniment and soloist. It's about two instruments coming together. But the trio, if you look at the trio, it's not anymore, you can't even distinguish what's secondary instrument sometimes and what's primary, what's the most important instrument. They're so connected, and I wanted to work on that because it's actually quite difficult. I find this trio quite tricky. I've played this piece, by the way, to be honest with you, because we see a lot of videos where people say this is a prima vista, it's my first time. It's not my first time with this piece. I've played it a long time ago. I barely remembered it. Now, a few days ago, actually weeks ago, I practiced it. I tried to relearn it, but I'm nowhere where I want to be because I have to play this in a concert. And so I'm going to practice now. So it's not completely new. It's not a completely new piece, but also I'm not comfortable with the piece at all because I haven't played it for a long time. Let's get started. Enough introduction. Let's get started with the trio. It sounds something like, yeah, you would just hear. I'm going to work on the first section now. I'm not going to play the whole piece because that's what I do usually when I practice. I have different ways of practicing. One of the ways is to divide the piece in sections. The first thing I'm going to do is go slowly through the passage, through the section I'm going to work on. So this is the first section that I want to work on. The reason I'm doing always in my practice system, in my practice routine, in my practice system, in the practice way I actually work, I always connect with the passage once through doing it slowly, and then I try it in a faster tempo to see what is it actually necessary to work on. Let's see a little bit faster, because actually this trio is quite fast, so it's definitely not this tempo. And that's not good. So what I want to do is, I want to have an absolutely uninterrupted flow. I want to basically, it's actually very tricky, I'll show you in a minute in the score, but I want to hear this. And of course, Brahms thought this would be child's play. Why don't I just make it a little bit more difficult by introducing... Look at actually the score. So this is the melody. But Brahms decided to do this. This additional note. And so this additional note makes actually things so much more difficult, because you have to play this note very soft. So you hear this additional note, this additional 16th note, but you don't want it to be too loud because it will interfere with the melody. If I don't do it too actually soft, you listen what will happen. It's a totally different piece, right? It's not...
Sounds kind of jazzy.
Exactly, it becomes totally different, but like I said, Brahms was not an amateur, so he decided, let's make it interesting, right? So that's what I have to work on. Now, what I noticed while I was playing faster, not yet in the tempo I want to do, I'm not flexible enough yet. So I feel that I cannot let go as much as I would like to. So what I'm going to do is...
Sorry, what do you mean with letting go?
What I mean by let go is that, for example, I want to have a certain timing. For example, let's say that I want to start slowly. But if I practice, I for example, in the second bar where I have to do this, I feel that I have to slow down again a little bit, like this. You see? Instead of... And if I let go too much, I will lift off. I'll start making mistakes. So I have to feel that I have to always ground myself to the piano. You know, you understand that? That I have to ground myself to the piano and not let go completely, to be completely free in order to do what I want. And so I have to try now. One of the most important things when you want to be able to be free is to look for a tempo where you feel free in that particular tempo. So for example, I'm going to look for that, and I think the tempo I feel free with is this. So in this tempo, you hear that I don't have to slow down too much, right? I can keep one and the same tempo. Now I know that the final goal is not that. I have to be able to speed up. But if you allow yourself in your practice to speed up all the time and try to play in the tempo that you cannot yet, you're constantly going to have these stops, these waves of faster, slower, faster, slow, and I don't want that. When you push too soon to play too fast, you're also not going to be aware of exactly what's happening in the music. You will not know the piece. And so my goal is, instead of trying to do this, on every bar, stop again, start again, stop again, go again, stop. That's not nice. So the way I'm going to accomplish being able to play in this quick tempo is by slowing down a little bit and doing it a little bit more regular. Regular. I didn't have to waver too much in the tempo. Now, the second thing I'm accomplishing very well this way when I'm having a little bit more of a stable tempo is that you don't hear my thumb so loud. Listen to that. You can hear the melody, but you don't hear the repeated note, the lower note of the thumb. Now, I feel a little bit more comfortable with this. I feel that it's a little bit more flowing in more or less one and the same tempo. The thumb is not too loud. So what I'm going to try now is to do it quicker. So in your practice, it is always, students always ask me, but you know, how can I achieve a fast tempo? Now I can get into this into this topic, into this particular video, because the video has to be a few hours long and perhaps even longer. There is many different ways, but you have to try in the tempo you want to play it. But you cannot do that all the time. You have to have a system. It's like if you want to be a football player, you don't play every single day football matches, because you're just going to destroy your system, your nervous system, physically you will just be destroyed. It's not possible, but you have to train, but you have to also play football matches. You have to do a combination of things. And so when you do the right combination, then you try and see what happens if I play faster, and you evaluate then. So for example, I started skipping my left hand, so I'm going to do it again. I started feeling a little bit insecure. Said I don't know if, are we allowed actually to say shit in YouTube?
I don't know, but there's children watching, our students are watching.
Okay, sorry, but shit, this didn't work. So what I'm feeling is, that's what I ask each one of you, for our students, I mean this. And of course, even if you're not our student, when you play, evaluate. For example, what I feel right now is, I will tell you, I feel that it's okay, it's nice, there are nice things. I'm never satisfied, of course, to 100%, but I feel that I don't feel 100% secure. And if you don't feel 100% secure, you're never going to be able to play it the way you want to. In order to be 100% secure, you need to go back to slow practice. Then you can do exercises, different exercises. I'm going to also do that. For example, I'm not going to do this on camera now, because I think that will take too long, but I can show you a little bit of an exercise. How I want to observe my thumb not to be too loud. Just very slowly, very regular tempo, one and the same tempo, maintaining a regular tempo, and listening to the thumb to be really softer. Now, actually, if you listen to this, I'm not trying to be really musical in this way of practice. What I'm trying to accomplish is just a little bit of range of sound difference in the range of sound between the lower note, the thumb, and the upper voice. So that's all I'm trying to accomplish. If you have a similar piece where you have to have one voice more than the other, simply exaggerate. Just even this. You can hear that my upper voice, you can name it whatever dynamic you want, everything is relative. You can say that it's forte or mezzo forte, and my thumb is pianissimo, something like that. You just want to have a good range of not range of dynamics, but a good distance in dynamic between the lower voice and the upper voice. This is an exercise, for example, that can help me. Now, after I do it once or twice this way, I'm going to try normally and see, is my balance even better. So that's what I'm trying, and I'm just evaluating. Is it a little bit better? Then yes, it's not going to be great immediately. Don't expect that. There is no shortcut. There is nothing that's going to make you play great immediately. But then I'm going to do that again and again and again. But for me, I'm actually satisfied to a certain extent with the balance between the lower note and the upper note. What I'm not satisfied with is being secure to go and playing the tempo that I want to. But anyway, this is what I wanted to show you, this is what I do in my practice. I'm actually thinking much more now than when I practice, not thinking much more, but trying to actually explain to you what exactly goes on through my head when I'm practicing by myself. There is not so much talking, there is much more playing, but it's more or less what I'm showing you. It's exactly what I do in my practice, and I wanted to show you and to tell you with this video as well that you have to work in a good way. You have to practice in a good way if you want to if you want to have good results. You can't just go and play the piece and expect that you will play great. It's never going to work that way. You have to practice well. Don't forget, by the way, to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. In this way, you help us grow the channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will suggest our videos to other people, and we would like to actually reach more people if that's possible. Follow our Instagram. We also upload there. If you have any questions, if you have a piece that you are playing and that you want to know something about, don't hesitate to ask us any question that's important to you. Thank you so much for watching. For me, recording this video for you was a great pleasure. I'm going to continue practicing, and we'll see you next time.